Did you know that Jacksonville, Florida is home to over 500 different species of fish? Yes, you heard that right, 500. From the hard-fighting amberjack to the elusive sailfish, the waters off Jacksonville are teeming with marine life, making it a vibrant hub for offshore fishing. Now let's dive into some intriguing statistics about this bustling industry. In Jacksonville alone, offshore fishing generates millions of dollars in revenue each year. It's not just about the money, though. Did you know that over 10,000 people participate in offshore fishing in Jacksonville annually? That's a lot of baited hooks and fishing lines cast out into the Atlantic Ocean. And it's not just locals who are reeling in the big ones. Jacksonville attracts anglers from all over the country, eager to test their skills against the rich and diverse marine life found in these waters. So, if you're looking to cast your line in these prolific waters, you're in the right place to learn how. Offshore fishing, also known as deep-sea fishing, can be an exhilarating experience. It's an adventure that takes you far out into the open ocean, where the water depth is usually at least 100 feet. This is where the magic of offshore fishing happens. Let's break it down a bit. Offshore fishing is all about venturing out into the deep blue, far from the shoreline. It's called offshore because you're literally off the shore, usually about 20 to 30 miles out depending on your location. In Jacksonville, Florida, for instance, the continental shelf extends quite a distance, meaning you can travel up to 50 miles out to find the right depth. The depth of the waters is a key aspect of offshore fishing. You are typically fishing in waters that are at least 100 feet deep, but often a lot deeper. This is where you find the big game, the large migratory fish species that are a thrill to catch. We're talking about species like marlin, tuna, and swordfish. These aren't your typical pond or river fish. These are powerful, fast, and incredibly exciting to reel in. So, how does offshore fishing differ from inshore fishing? Well, inshore fishing takes place in shallower waters, usually within 9 miles of the coast. The fish species are different, often smaller, and the gear and techniques used can vary greatly. In offshore fishing, you're targeting larger, more elusive species using heavier gear and often needing a larger, more robust boat to handle the ocean conditions. Offshore fishing is not just about catching fish, it's about the whole experience. It's feeling the ocean breeze in your face, the thrill of the chase, the fight to reel in a powerful fish, and the satisfaction of a successful catch. It's about being out in the vast expanse of the ocean where it's just you, your boat, and the fish. Now that you know what offshore fishing entails, let's dive into how to get started. Before setting off to the deep seas, you'll need to gear up properly. First things first, the rod, the backbone of your fishing experience. For offshore fishing, a conventional rod is your best bet. They are sturdy, durable, and designed to handle the fight of a large fish. They come in different lengths, so choose one that suits your comfort and the species you're targeting. Next up, the bait. Live bait is the most effective for offshore fishing. Various species of fish, squid, and even crabs can be used as bait. But remember, the type of bait you use should depend on what you're fishing for. If you're unsure, local bait shops are a great resource for advice. Now let's talk about fishing lines. Monofilament lines are the most common. They're affordable, durable, and they stretch, which can be a lifesaver when a big fish decides to make a run for it. Braided lines, on the other hand, are more expensive but offer a higher strength-to-diameter ratio. They don't stretch, which means you'll feel every tug and pull from the fish. Moving on to safety equipment. A life jacket is a must. It's not just about being safe, it's about being smart. Make sure it's comfortable and fits you well. A first aid kit is also essential. Accidents can happen, and it's better to be prepared. And don't forget about a VHF marine radio. This device could be a literal lifesaver if you find yourself in an emergency situation. Lastly, consider a fishing tackle box. It's the perfect place to store all your hooks, lines, and sinkers. It keeps everything organized and within reach. Remember, the right gear can make all the difference in your offshore fishing experience. It not only increases your chances of a successful catch, but also ensures your safety while you're out in the open sea. With the right gear in hand, you're one step closer to your offshore fishing adventure. Now it's time to learn the step-by-step process of offshore fishing. Diving right in, our first step is locating a fishing spot. With Jacksonville, Florida's extensive coastline, there's a multitude of options to choose from. You can use nautical charts, fish finding devices, or even mobile apps to locate prime fishing spots. These tools show you the depth and the type of seabed, which are essential in determining the kind of fish you might encounter. Remember, different fish species prefer different types of habitats, so do a bit of research on your target catch before you set sail. Next up is preparing your gear. First, ensure your rod and reel are suitable for offshore fishing. You'll need a strong, durable rod, typically between 6 and 7 feet long, and a heavy-duty reel capable of handling the open ocean's challenges. Load your reel with braided line, which is strong and resistant to the harsh saltwater environment. Now, attach a leader to your line. This is a piece of monofilament or fluorocarbon line that's more abrasion-resistant and less visible to fish. On the business end of the leader, you'll attach your chosen hook or lure again, depending on what species you're targeting. Once your gear is ready, it's time to cast your line. Position your boat over your chosen fishing spot, then cast your line deep into the water. Be patient and keep a firm grip on your rod. Offshore fish are generally larger and put up more of a fight than their inshore counterparts. When you feel a tug on your line, it's game on. Start reeling in your catch. Remember, this isn't a test of brute strength, it's a dance. You need to tire the fish out. Reel in when the fish isn't pulling and let out line when it's fighting hard. This give and take can take a while, especially with larger fish, so be patient and persistent. When you finally reeled the fish in close to the boat, it's time for the gaff. This is a large hook on a pole that you use to secure and haul in your catch. Aim for the body of the fish, avoiding the gills and mouth to prevent any damage that might ruin your catch. Now, you've got your fish on the boat. Congratulations, you've officially completed your first offshore fishing expedition. But that's not the end. After celebrating your catch, it's crucial to properly store your fish to ensure it stays fresh. Use a cooler filled with ice to keep your fish at the optimal temperature. Finally, take some time to clean and maintain your gear. Rinse everything with fresh water to remove salt and grime, then dry and store your gear properly. This ensures everything will be ready and in top shape for your next adventure. And there you have it, a straightforward guide to your first offshore fishing experience. Before we wrap up, let's quickly recap the key points to remember for your offshore fishing trip. Firstly, remember that offshore fishing, also known as deep sea fishing, is a type of fishing that takes place approximately 9 to 20 miles from the shoreline. It's where the water is deepest and the fish are bigger and more varied. You'll be encountering species like marlin, tuna, and kingfish, a far cry from the usual freshwater catches. Now, gear is incredibly important in offshore fishing. You need to ensure you have the right tools for the job. This includes a sturdy fishing rod designed for the rigors of offshore fishing, strong fishing line, and high-quality bait. Don't forget your personal items too, like sun protection, a hat, and comfortable clothing. Once you've got your gear sorted, you'll need to follow the correct steps to offshore fishing. Start by checking the weather forecast. You don't want to be caught in a storm miles from the shore. Then decide where you want to fish. This decision might be influenced by the kind of fish you're hoping to catch, so do your research. Once you're on the water, remember to be patient. Offshore fishing isn't a quick process, and it can take time to find the perfect spot. Additionally, respect the marine environment and follow all the local regulations. Fishing is a privilege, not a right, and it's essential to protect the marine life for future generations. Last but not least, safety should be your top priority. Always tell someone where you're going and when you expect to return. Make sure you have a communication device on board and always wear your life jacket. Keep these points in mind and you'll be well on your way to a successful offshore fishing trip in Jacksonville, Florida.